what are the Falcons doing? Like, is this just, hey, somebody's going to pick up the phone and call us? I truly did not believe that they would pay that $10 million bonus. Like that just seems crazy to me. Like that's a lot of money for a guy who you've already said you're a backup. Michael Penix is our starter, period, point blank. There's no competition. And you're going to pay a $10 million bonus for your backup. Is this just all this game of chicken where you're just waiting for the Steelers to call you and give you a pick? Or might Kirk Cousins really be their backup on opening day?
I think there's a few elements here. There's a financial element, which is I also didn't think back in December when they benched him, or I think it was December, that he was going to stick around. And I was like, this is a $90 million deal, not a $100 million deal. They're going to cut him. But I think when you look at it, if you say we're going to get X amount of his services for $90 million versus $100, at this point, they pretty much already ate the money. And so maybe they want to get a little more return on it, particularly when Michael Penix Jr. had an injury history in college and it's not yet proven, even if he looked like he had potential at the end of the season. So that's element one. I think element two is, well, you might still have trade elements. As we're talking about this game of musical chairs, there are going to be teams without a quarterback. And so why would you not want to have this asset when you feel like you'll be able to potentially trade for something? Why would you just let it go when you could get something in return? And the third element is, I do think there are a lot of people and a lot of roster builders in this league who believe that backup quarterback is one of the most important positions that you can have. And so they're just like, okay, we paid the money, let's keep him. Now, I don't think it's great for team dynamics, but also Kirk doesn't have a huge history of really making an issue of these things.
And also, I think a lot of teams should look at it this way. If you just reverse the two salaries and you say we're paying this guy this much and this guy this much, and it's Penix making a little bit and Kirk Cousins making a lot, you add those together and it's like, okay, that's a perfectly priced quarterback room. It's just reverse engineered a little bit.
Also, the two, I think the backup quarterback conversation here is very important because most of the quarterbacks that are left out there are not somebody you would want to rely on for any amount of time in a season, right? So who else is going to be their backup that they'll feel good about if they need him? Also, one of my buddies told me years ago, and I'll never forget this. He's made a lot more money than anybody I know in my life. And he said, rich people don't spend money twice. And I just keep thinking about Arthur Blank looking at it and saying, I already spent this money, right? And so if I cut him, it's just a wash. If I trade him, I'm going to have to eat a bunch of this salary. Like, you want me to spend this money on nothing when, to Jory's point, I just keep them here. I already spent the money, so I want to get something. I'll raise the cost of nails at Home Depot by 50 cents, and I'll just offset it, and I'll be fine. So I think there has to be some bit of stubbornness from an owner saying, we just put a lot of money out with a plan, and that plan had to be contingent. They had to know before they drafted Michael Penix Jr. that there was a chance this would happen. And if this happened, they had to know how they were going to approach it. And I think the Falcons have been consistent through this entire process to say, nope, Kirk's not going anywhere, because I believe the day that they drafted Michael Penix Jr., when the rest of us were just shell-shocked by it and stunned, they knew long-term what that meant for every single turn in the Choose Your Own Adventure book. If Penix needed to start, what did that mean? If Cousins started, what did that mean? I don't believe that the Falcons are being reactive here. I think they were proactive from day one and understood what their plan was going to be.
Yeah, to me, this is a problem if you have Aaron Rodgers as your backup, because you don't necessarily trust that he is going to play nice. But Kirk Cousins seems like, despite, to me, Kirk Cousins being a backup is almost not even a new... It's slight to him. It kind of is, but it's really just like the end of the slight that you already gave him a year ago when you drafted Michael Penix Jr. right after giving him $100 million and not telling him that you were going to draft a guy. That, to me, is still the biggest slight, and this is just the fallout from that slight.